So he sent an email sort of pestering me to ask why I hadn't played his mod or looked at his maps. And my response was I joked and said, that I wasn't going to play it unless he flew me out to his office. This was a reference to something that had been happening in the Left 4 Dead 2 space that he was aware of. And Joe's response was to put up a website asking the community to help him raise funds in order to fly Eric and I out here to Australia. You can actually follow the whole course conversation that went on about this at this URL that I've listed here. And as soon as he put it up, Eric and I sort of turned to each other and said, uh-oh, we're going to Australia. Questions?
On the level of support for Left 4 Dead 2, the community feels that Team Fortress has actually had more support than the original Left 4 Dead. Will you ramp up support for Left 4 Dead 2 to the same levels that Team Fortress saw?
We intend to continue to provide support. We just released Crash Course for the original Left 4 Dead. So we're going to continue to support both Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. Team Fortress is really the benchmark for us right now in terms of doing that kind of support, and that's the level that we intend to bring all of our products to, not just Team Fortress. We're going through this transition, which I think is interesting, which is towards entertainment. We call it entertainment as a service, just internally as our model. And Team Fortress 2 is sort of the furthest along in terms of rapid, regular updates, moving into both the movie place with the Meet the Team shorts, as well as we're starting to do some stuff with comics. So Team Fortress really is sort of the model that the rest of our products are going to be following as we move ahead. Yes?
You spoke a while ago about community funding. How would a company as autonomous as Valve benefit from such community funding, and how would that change your interaction with the community?
So Valve's products wouldn't need to be funded. We have lots of money. The main thing we'd be interested in is trying to build services into things like Steam to make it easier for guys like Joe to develop funding for their projects. So if they could go out to a group of people and say, here's a funding mechanism by which the next 2 or 3 versions of Shotgun Sunrise can get more seriously funded so we can quit our day jobs and do this full time. Those are the sorts of things that we're really interested in doing. Funding isn't really a problem for us, but we do think in the same way that Steam community is valuable and the Valve Developer Wiki is valuable to the community, and that helps our games over time, that trying to figure out what the service pieces and the finance pieces to enable that, that's what we're interested in, is more directly benefiting the smaller independent gamers rather than needing some mechanism of funding ourselves. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly how hard is it as an independent modder like Joe here to actually, find employment with a larger company? Like, say, Gary's mod, for instance, would be the most obvious example.
I think that more the mod community is where a lot of companies are looking to for talent. It's sort of the AAA league for game companies. It's an opportunity to see who can really connect with an audience and to deliver consistent value to those people. So I think that whereas before companies were trying to look at people in their testing organizations and sort of trying to grow those, they're finding that it's far more fruitful to look at what's happening in the mod community for the people who are, you can just watch how the community is developing. I mean, if you just use forum posts on one of the mod's sites as an index, that's one of the best ways to, quantitatively find talent. So I think that we've been pretty outspoken about the value of doing that, and more you'll see other developers and publishers taking advantage of that as a way of finding the most talented people around the world. Going down the hall to to your QA organization is easy, but the most talented people you're going to find halfway around the world developing some crazy co-op zombie western. We flew out here because I think that we recognize that we really are part of this community. That we talk about it a lot. That we're not up here and the community is down here and our games sort of snowflake in. We really are part of it. And we look to that community to see what it is that we should do, whether it's how we design our games or how we move Steam forward. And it was pretty clear that that this was one of those things where the community sort of fell in love with the idea. They really wanted us to do this. They wanted us to come down here and meet with Joe and give him feedback. And it's, in our experience, been a very bad idea when we get such a clear signal from the PC gaming community if we ignore it. They were saying, we want you to go do this. And so it was sort of up to Eric and I to find lots of other useful things to do while we're here. But the community spoke pretty authoritatively, both in raising the money and also just in the sheer amount of email that I received from people saying, okay, he called your bluff, and if you don't go down there, you're incredibly lame, and you really needed to. So it was very much in response to sort of the groundswell of support for us doing this, which is very similar to the groundswell that has allowed us to be successful as a company.
Gabe, you, unlike many developers, you do respond to community requests. A lot of developers don't do that because they're afraid it'll open floodgates. How do you balance? Are there any concerns that if you say yes to a couple of modders, you have to say everyone expect yes in the future?
Well, I think that the floodgates are what you want, right? I mean, we are part of this community, and we have to pay attention. I publish my email in our games so that people can contact us, and it's a source of strength for us. It's not a distraction. It is the business that we're in. We are, responsive to, communicate with, and entertain in cooperation the PC gaming community. And that's why we've been as successful as we have. That's why we're as good at designers as we are. And that's why our fans are so enthusiastic.